Hello everyone, my name is Brendo. Welcome once again to my channel. And if you're new, thank you for being here. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always supporting. Once again, today we will be looking at another scholarship here in the UK, and this will be from the University of Southampton. So what will we consider today? We'll be looking at some PhD scholarships. We'll be looking at some master's scholarships, some undergraduate scholarships, and some online scholarship. And this one is very interesting, particularly for those in education department. There are some scholarships for you, and you would find this very fascinating. My name is Brenda. Once again, if you're meeting me for the first time, I am also a doctoral student, and I received full funding for my program from the University of Strathclyde here in Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom. So without further ado, let's get started to our video for today. So I will share my screen and we'll be looking at the University of Southampton and we're looking at the current research degree program. If you're new to my channel, usually I always mention that the best way to look for scholarship is to, if you have your preferred university, just simply type the name of the university and type scholarship at the end. There are different types of scholarships, but university-specific scholarships are my favorite because they are less competitive. So you just type the name of the university, type scholarship, and always just check. And once again, if you're also new here, I would always recommend do not use filters when applying for scholarships or when looking for the result of scholarship. Just search them through one after the other. It's rigorous, but you can do that. If you must use a filter, the only filter you can use is to indicate what type of student you are, if you are an international student or a domestic student. So if we click on this, it takes us to this side, but without wasting time, I'll just simply go to the main part of interest for us today. So let's start with the first one, which is the research degree project. But we'll come back to this research degree project because these are for masters and PhD. But we'll come back to this. Let's look at some scholarships, one after the other. We'll look at them. Okay. So coming to the current research degree project, all we want to do is usually you find this like this, and it's this way. It's always this way. So for the University of Southampton, we have 291 research degree projects. We want to narrow this down to fully funded both for UK and international students. Now, when you select these, we have 79. So you could look at these one after the other and look for what is interested or which one aligns with your research interest or field. Now, something to keep in mind, I always like to talk about this. Do not simply reject a scholarship or just while going through this list of scholarship decide, no, I'm not going to look at that one simply because, well, it doesn't align with your interest because of the topic title. Don't do that. If you do that, you might be missing opportunities. So just take your time, go through each one. And while doing that, you also want to look at the details of the scholarships or the research area. The reason for that is you might think one is not interesting or it's not for my field. But when you look at the details, you see that you might have experience in that area, even though you do not have the relevant degree. You might have experience. And some of these scholarships will tell you if you have relevant experience, even if you do not have the degree, you can apply to this scholarship. So just make it a practice, a habit to always look at each scholarship, even if you think you may not be qualified. All right, so we go back. So here we have 79 scholarship. We can look at them one after the other. This is AI enhanced study of the origins of railway noise under complex track geometrical condition. It's fully funded and the closing date is the 31st of August 2025. And we have others to a seismic study of free flow interaction in South Atlantic. So if things like this interest you, you might want to apply. Now, let's say, for example, you still want to use filter. Now you have different topic or different research areas here. Let's say, for example, we look at mathematical science. So we select mathematical science. Now, if you notice, if you select that, nothing changes here. And if you click on search, okay, now we have two. So we have machine learning models for subgrid scales in turbulent reactant flows. Closing date is 30th of June. Now we also have mathematical modeling of poromechanics of soil. That is also another one. So I think I've clicked on this one and that is here. So this is a fully funded research for a PhD program. Now, the entry requirement, if you have a 2.1, you can still apply for this scholarship. Now, it's the closing date again is 31st of August. What do you need? Well, this is about the project. You can read this to get details about the background. This is very important if you're going to write the research proposal. You need this. And you also have the potential supervisor, you have the lead supervisor, you want to read on their work. In one of my previous videos, I've mentioned that if you're going to write a research proposal or you're going to write an email to these supervisors, you need to be familiar with their research area. You need to be familiar with their research papers as well, their current research papers. Entry requirement, again, the only thing we have here is a 2.1 honors degree. For fees and funding, remember, we said it covers both international student and home student. How to apply? You choose the program, you apply to the particular department, add the name of the supervisors, and then what do you need? A research proposal, your CV, two reference letter, and a degree transcript to date. Now, I have a step-by-step guide on writing a research proposal. If you're interested in this, please let me know. I will share the step-by-step guide to you. Just indicate in the comment section that you're interested in that and I will send it to you. The same thing applies to the academic CV. Here it says you need to submit your CV. Now, here simply mentions your CV, not necessarily academic CV. If you have an academic CV, great. But if you do not have an academic CV, I have a template on a step-by-step guide on how to craft an academic CV. And you also need two reference letters. Preferably one should be academic, the other one could be professional from your work experience, and you need your degree transcript to date. Now, these are all documents you need for applying to these scholarships. Now, let's go back there. So once again, your research proposal, your CV, two reference letters, and degree transcript. Remember what I mentioned earlier. Do not simply say, oh, this is not something that I can do. Just go through the materials and see if it's something that aligns with your interest. It might be a new area for you, a new territory, but isn't that what research is supposed to be? All right. So let's say we go for something else. Say we look for biological science for fully funded and we search. Okay, now we have four for fully funded, both for UK and international students. And we could look at any of these. Say, for example, we look at rapid diagnostics for antimicrobial resistance. Okay, fully funded as well. The deadline is 31st of August 2025. What is the project about? You can read up on this. The PhD opportunity is for 4 years and will be fully funded. It will be fully funded. Exciting, I would say, really exciting. Potential supervisors, you've been given potential supervisors, and look, you have their research interest. Microfluidics, biosensors, lab on a chip technologies. So those are their research interests. And you have all the supervisors. Also find out their research interest in case you'd need to send them an email, but I don't think you have to do this here. Um, the entry requirement, again, 2.1 honors degree, an interest in the development of new diagnostic system. Now, do you see what this is? An interest. So the interest could be from maybe your previous degree or could be from work experience, something to show that you have an interest in the development of new diagnostic systems. Do not sleep on this if your research areas align. How to apply? Well, you need to choose the program, same thing, and while submitting the application, insert the name of the supervisor. And the other things you need would be a research proposal, your CV, two reference letter, and degree certificate or transcript to date. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Okay, so that is how you can find all the scholarships here. But remember, you can just pick them one after the other. For medicine, let's see if we have anything on medicine. Well, for medicine, we have one laser-based fabrication of medical diagnostic devices in paper. Now, sounds like a lot if you're not doing a PhD yet, but remember, all I want you to do is always look out the description. The details of this. The aim of this project is to use laser-based direct writing technique developed and patented by our group to pattern this and that. So read up on this, and if it's something interesting, remember, like I said, do not allow the big names or anything scare you. It might be something fascinating and interesting. Submit the application and you can gain this. Now, that is first one for the degree or the current research degree projects. Interesting stuff, good stuff. But then there are other ones I found while searching for scholarship from the University of Southampton. And this one is one of the ones I found, and I'm like, oh, I really have to tell you guys about this. Good stuff. The Southampton Education Civic Scholarship. I found this on the scholarship page. It's part of the competitive scholarship for international students. I can't even remember exactly where it was. Now, this is a scholarship award for one full fee waiver. It's for one. I don't know how many persons are going to apply for this, but of course, you'd expect the competition to be less. It's going to be less, but it can be you. Like, it can literally be you. It applies to home students, international students. It's a 2 year, it's part-time, and it's online, and it's starting in 2025. So while applying to your different scholarships, you can also apply for this particular scholarship 2025. You can get the scholarship. I strongly believe you can get a scholarship. Yes, it's one, but I'm so sure that one of you watching this video will get a scholarship. And please, if you did get a scholarship, do let me know in the chat section that you've been awarded a scholarship months down the line and you say, oh, Brendo, I got a scholarship. I would be so excited to know that you got a scholarship. Well, to be eligible for this scholarship, first, please note that it's not applicable to the same program that is full-time on campus. This is online. To be eligible for the scholarship, you must hold a conditional or unconditional offer from the university for the program. So the first thing you want to do today is apply for the program. Apply for MSc Education Online program. Cool stuff. Just go on, go through the process of applying. Usually you'd need a personal statement. If you need a sample of a personal statement, you can send a message or simply indicate in the comment section. I will send you a sample of a personal statement. I could send you mine. And you must also meet the offer condition, including the English language requirements. For many of these, there is a waiver, and you could simply apply for the waiver if you were taught in English language. The deadline to apply for this is the 18th of July, and you'll be contacted by the 5th of August to confirm the outcome. No late application will be accepted. Now, this is a good scholarship. Trust me. Just apply for this, and I'm so confident that someone here on this platform will be awarded the scholarship. But do not leave it for later. If you need any help or any assistance, just ask questions in the comment section. And if it's something I can do, I will be willing to help you with that. Now let's talk about another one, which is the Presidential Bursaries Scholarship. I should mention that at the end of the video, I'll drop a link to all of these scholarships. The web page is on the chat, so just look at the video description. You find the links to this scholarship. Just so I don't forget, I'll simply open it. Okay, we'll just go on. So for the presidential bursaries, we have the Southampton Presidential Bursaries for International Postgraduate Researchers. Now, this particular scholarship does something. It pays the differences between home student and international student. For those in the UK, or if you're interested in schooling in the UK, even if you're schooling in a Western university, there is home student fee and international student fee. Now, for home student fee, usually, I'll give you an example. So home student could pay 6,000 per year for a program. International student could pay 18,000, almost three times what home students pay. It's almost always three times and sometimes more than three times what home student pays. So these particular presidential bursaries, what it do or what it does is it pays the differences. So if your tuition as an international student were to be 18,000 and for home student it is 6,000, it will cover 12,000. And then all you have to pay for that year is 5,000 or 6,000. Trust me, that is fascinating. It is great. Only very few people would apply for this scholarship. Can you get £5,000 in a year? I think you can reasonably. But remember, always calculate the expense before you make any move. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you realistically, I think as an international student, you're allowed to work up to 20 hours. You're allowed to work 20 hours um, every week. So reasonably, I think you can. If you have enough savings too, even better. You can even pay upfront. I think you just need to send a message to the university to let them know your financial circumstances. But these presidential bursaries cover the difference. And once again, if the difference is 18,000, it covers that 18,000. If the difference is 24,000, it covers that 24,000. And all you have to pay for will just be the same tuition as home student. That is remarkable. To be eligible for this scholarship, let's go back to the screen. To be eligible for this scholarship, you need to have accepted a PhD offer or start your studies between 1st of August 2025 and 31st of January 2026. And you need a first class undergraduate degree. So this is a program, this is a PhD program you can do from your undergraduate. You do not need a master's to apply to this one. If you have master's, even better. But if you have a first class undergraduate degree, awesome. And look, for international postgraduate researchers, the PhD bursaries are open to all international candidates demonstrating exceptional academic performance. And it does not even mention any particular discipline. So you can apply to any discipline of your choice, any discipline, as long as you have your first class undergraduate degree. You could see other equivalent of that. Now, this one is important. Do not sleep on this. So what have we done so far? We've reviewed three French scholarships. We've looked at the research scholarship for PhD, and we've also seen the MSc online scholarship. We've also seen the presidential bursary scholarship. If any of this applies to you, please submit an application as soon as possible. Do not save it for much later. Just apply as soon as possible. And if you're interested in any of the materials, for example, the samples I've mentioned, just indicate in the comment section and I will share the materials with you. But remember, please, to subscribe and like the video. It really helps me along. Um, it encourages me. Somehow it has that positive psychological effect, which I really appreciate if you do that. But more importantly, all the best, and I wish you success in your scholarship pursuit.